No one argues anymore that cigarettes are good for you. Everyone knows they're bad for you. Everyone tries to kick the habit who has it, including myself. Few do. And I have a conversation now with two gentlemen who have kicked the habit. A movie star, Tony Curtis, Senator Frank Moss. Senator Frank Moss has done a lot in the legislative area to help everyone, I suppose, quit smoking. Mr. Curtis takes it so seriously, he goes around the country preaching against cigarettes. Let's start with you.
Gospel, eh?
Preaching the gospel. All right, well, I'm converted, but I can't stay converted.
Wouldn't it be great if we could get you to quit?
What could you do, Tony? How could anybody quit? How do you do it? How did you do it?
Well, I think each person has got to find, there's no so-called handbook of how you give up cigarette smoking. Each person must do it on his own. Depending on the person's intelligence, the environment he lives in, the people surrounding him, his need for it, how much he cares about himself, or how much he doesn't care about himself.
Well, Tony, bring it down to something very personal with yourself. You had it and had it bad, right, the habit. Huh?
Well, I smoked a pack and a half a day.
Okay, that's
and
a lot.
I had planned to quit for a long time. My father died of cigarette smoking.
Died of it?
Yes, he had lung cancer at 42. I'm 44, 2 years younger than I was. I was in the Navy then, and I remember getting an emergency leave to go home, and he was already in a hospital, and they took out a lung of his. That's at 42 years old. I mean, a man in the prime of his life. A man is in the prime of his life, as far as I'm concerned, at any point in his life. To me, there's no such thing as being very groovy at 20 and blowing it at 70.
Oh, well, Tony, you didn't quit then.
No, I quit around, I was 32 years old when I quit. You see, I quit at 32. I'd smoked about 10 years, 8 years, a pack and a half a day. And what convinced me during that period of time was a very simple thing. There were two things. The Consumer Union report, is it the Consumers Union report?
Yeah, that's right.
Put out a book on cigarette smoking. That was 9 years ago. I saw this book on a Sunday morning in a drugstore. Don't ask me what I was doing in a drugstore at Sunday morning.
I won't ask.
But anyway, what really convinced me was the day before, 2 days before, I'd been to my dentist. And in cleaning my teeth, he said, you know, I'm getting tired of cleaning that tar off the inside of those teeth of yours. And he says, I noticed some white spots on the back of your gums. He says, I think you ought to quit. Well, that scared the hell out of me. I mean, you know, right away, he explained how one can get cancer and where it can come from. And that's what convinced me to do it.
I'm scared. I know you can get cancer. I know you can get emphysema. I know you can get everything, but I still don't quit. How can I?
Well, don't be a dummy. Quit. I mean, you just mustn't do it to yourself. You've got much too much at stake. Now, look, you're a man with a responsible job, a man that must express the nature and the essence of our time. I would think that that would be a very important and a very desirable position to be in. For some reason or another, you don't seem to think so, because if you did, you wouldn't smoke. Don't you see? You've got to kind of key yourself out of it. You've got to find a way, a point of view, an attitude. We were talking earlier, you know, about, you say you smoke when you type. Don't type. Get a tape recorder and do it, you know, orally in that sense. I mean, vocally, I mean. Break any habit that catches you falling into that trap of reaching for that cigarette, you know? When is your birthday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? You're kidding. I should have been here a week ago. Pick out a date a month from now or 6 weeks from now. And if you smoke 40 cigarettes a day now, tomorrow smoke 38. And before next week, smoke only 20. Stay at 20 for a week. Then cut down to 18, then down to 15. And just as you get closer to the date you've set yourself, let's say 6 weeks from now, during that last week going into it, that's the crucial week, stay at around 8 or 6 cigarettes a day. And then that day comes, just quit. Martin, I'd like to see you quit. I admire you. I've enjoyed watching you on television, and I think it would be a damn silly thing for you to continue smoking. That's the end of my pitch.
Senator?
Well, Tony, you're a great one. And
well, I don't know. I really wish people
legislatively, is there anything could be done, Senator?
Well,
you can't legislate.
We could put you in jail. We could put you in jail.
I'm opposed, of course, of trying any prohibition experiment with tobacco. I think we proved that is not the way to go after it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both very much.